would you say is the unexpected value that an organisation gets from VR training?
Unexpected value. I think there's the tangible value they'll get. So there will be efficiencies, there will be, cost savings, there are all those sort of pieces. But then I think there's kind of a more unexpected one, which will be that employee engagement piece that I mentioned before,
Yeah.
which is, the slightly intangible. So an employee thinking of the company as an innovative company, and therefore perhaps, being prouder to be part of that company because this company is looking at cutting edge technology. So I think, that's definitely sort of something that is less tangible, but that whole expectation piece that I mentioned previously, and, employees expecting their companies to invest in them and to be looking at the latest technology, that I think is just becoming more and more important. So ultimately, where I'd say is embracing newer technology like virtual reality is sort of giving you that, employee engagement, which is quite a sort of, hot topic at the moment. And therefore all the benefits that come across from that, which is, productivity, loyalty, advocacy, all those sorts of things.
Brilliant. Well, that sort of brings us to the end, James. Thank you so much for... Well, it's been brilliant talking to you. Is there anything else you want to kind of say or mention about VR?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I like to mention is, as part of, what the world has been through and is still going through with this pandemic, you do hear people talk a lot about technology being the answer, and, particularly VR, because obviously people aren't able to travel so much. And I agree there is a role to play. I don't think it has completely transformed what the technology can do. And so my view is that, I hope that as companies go through the process, and I think at the moment they're still pretty much in crisis management, there's still kind of, let's keep the lights on, let's keep things going. But I like to think that in, 4-6 months, as things, hopefully continue to settle, I know there's some questions around that will continue, but if things continue to settle, what I really hope is one of the few positives to come out of this horrendous situation is that companies look at technology differently. It's been a mass forced experiment, which the skeptics who said, no, we can't do all this over video conferencing, or we can't use technology to enhance how we work. Hopefully those people have now seen that it does work. And therefore, if as they move into more of a consolidation phase, I would hope that the senior leaders within organizations will be like, okay, we do need to take technology and new ways of working more seriously, because we know that they can work. It's not to say they're all going to work.
No.
But I really hope a small positive is that a more openness to technology as a whole and what it can do for businesses. But, we'll have to see how that plays out over the next, 6 months or so.
Months. I mean, it's even as silly things like me with Zoom. I knew Zoom existed before this whole pandemic. But if you'd said to me, use Zoom, Emily, to communicate or to interview, so I'd be like, oh no, I wouldn't use Zoom. Now it's become my best friend. Like, I literally am on it most days, 3, 4, 5 times a day.
It works. It works. I mean, it's not the same as meeting in person,
of course
but
it's not.
It's pretty good. And
exactly.
So that person, the example I use is a guy who I heard about who used to fly over to New York for like a 2-hour meeting every other week. And because it had to be face to face, just had to be go shake the hand, go whatever. And, obviously he hasn't been able to do that. And, guess what? The relationship is still just as strong. And instead of it taking 2 days, almost 2 days out of his calendar, it's now taking 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I think it's those examples where people are like, oh, okay, maybe I only need to fly over once every 6 months.
Yeah.
I'll do the Zoom. I'll do it over Zoom or whatever else you're going to use. So yeah, I think it's hopefully it's opened the door to more open view of what technology can do.
Definitely.